Alright guys, so this is another installment of books Addison has read. I don't remember. I made it just yesterday. It does make sense to me now. Uh, I'll be talking about Infinity Blade Awakening now, again by Brandon Sanderson. Yeah, again, that's my favorite author. But I know for a fact that this book was not based in the Cosmere because it is based off of the iPod, the iPhone, the iPad, whatever Pod Apple device, maybe on other devices. I don't know. I have the iPhone 5 personally, so I would know. But this book is basically based on the Infinity Blade games. So, Infinity Blade 1, Infinity Blade 2, and as of now, recently, Infinity Blade 3. The story, well, I'll go a little bit into the gameplay first before I get to the story. In the first game, it's basically set where your father or another relative goes in to face the God King, who is basically, in that world, is a deathless, someone who, if killed, will come back to life. They're more powerful, they have magics, they're just really strong. And they control armies of, like, I don't know what to call them. I'd call them mutants, personally, but they have a legit name. I don't know of it at the moment, I forget it. But what happens is that your father dies and he's stabbed with the Infinity Blade. This blade right here on the cover of the book. And when that happens, your IQ, QI, I don't remember QI, UI. It's hard to remember this sort of stuff. I mean, a lot of stuff I remember this. It's just hard to remember this part. Is ripped out and then stored in the blade to be used. You don't know why he's doing this to you. You just know that you have to kill him. That's the goal. All of your relatives have been leading up to this point to kill him. So, your son, you're Sirius, or yeah, Sirius. You're Sirius. That is the main character and the last, technically, player. Even though you die multiple times, trying to kill the God King, just comes over and over again. But eventually, you just go on, you go forwards, and you kill the God King. When he dies, you steal the sword, and the game ends right there. And then there is a small thing between Infinity Blade 2, where you just appear with this random assassin girl named Issa, I forget. I can't really pronounce it quite well. And you don't know what happened. This is where Infinity Blade Awakening comes in. It's basically the bridge between Game 1 and Game 2. In this bridge, you learn a little bit more about the Infinity Blade world, more about Sirius as a person, not just a killing machine, with magic such as healing, freezing, fire, ice, all that sort of stuff. He's not just all that. He's the person, and he comes from town. He has a name. He has a family, and all this. The name of his town is Durham's Maw, which is basically the city or the small town near the God King's palace. Now, they have a tradition in Durham's Maw where they send one kid from the same family and or you could call dynasty up to go try and kill the God King. And if he does not succeed, he dies. But it's their sort of form of rebellion against the God King. And so before you go, you have to impregnate a girl, any girl, and she has a child, but you're dead. You will be dead. That is the fact. But this guy, Sirius, he didn't have a child. So he is basically the last one of the dynasty. And he has to go kill the God King. So he goes up, he kills the God King, he comes back with the Infinity Blade, and what happens is he finds his town, and it's been taken over by a mutant. The mutant is controlling it, and he says that this is the God King's land. Now I claim his throne. And then he tries to kill someone or beat them up. I don't remember. I read this book a few months ago. But Sirius, he comes out, uses God King's sword, and blocks him. Like blocking, parrying. And the demon is just shocked. He's like, that's the God King's blade. And he's like, it can't be. It can't be. No one can kill the God King. That sort of stuff. Yeah, never mind. Forget that real thing about me saying about him not about the God King's death. No. He did not know about the God King's death. He just wanted to get the merchandise, the iron or the ore or whenever they make it down in Dresma, bring up to the castle, he finds out the God King is dead, and he tries to kill Sirius. Of course, Sirius, being too powerful, kills him, and then he's sent to a court. Now, you might be wondering, man, he killed the God King. He's a hero. He's good. But this was not supposed to happen. The God King was never supposed to die. Because it'd been maybe hundreds of years since this tradition started. The guy, and give me a second, the TV just turned on. Okay, guys, sorry about that interruption. The TV turned on because my dad paused the game before I went to bed, and there's only a certain time the pause thing works. So I remember where we left off. Okay, we left off with him going to jail. Me saying that you must be wondering why he's a hero. He killed everyone. He killed the God King. This never happened before. It's not supposed to happen. And this goes to the idea of this has been a tradition for so long of sending him up to kill the God King and not coming home. Then Sirius comes home. It's shocking, and his mother comes in, and she is so proud. He can now have a life, his childhood, because in the story, basically, the person who is sent up to kill the God King, he has to train. Whenever he can start walking, he has to train to fight and kill. He can't eat sweets. He can't play around. He has to train and practice and fight to make sure that he will be the one to kill the God King and save his people. So when Sirius returns, all goes to shit. Because there's not just one Deathless, the God King. There are hundreds of them. They are extremely powerful, extremely strong, and almost impossible to kill. Like I said before, the God King is not supposed to kill, and they would want his land and territory, and they would want the Infinity Blade. The Infinity Blade, as you learn later, was created by the Worker of Secrets to kill the Deathless. And so, other Deathless would want this weapon to claim superiority over the others, saying, yeah, I can kill you forever. I will take our cue, you'll be dead. Dead, dead, dead. Not half dead, like you were born. No, you will be dead. So the council has to send Sirius away to protect themselves, even though he gave up his life, his childhood, to save them. They have to throw him away. They have to force him away, because if they don't, everyone is going to die. So it's basically the idea of should have kept the God King alive because you would be protected, or kill him because that was right. He'd been torturing you. He'd been keeping you in caves as slaves for all your life. And so when Sirius leaves, he understands. He's a bit angry, but he understands that what happened, it had to happen. He wanted to save his people. This is the only way to do it now. And so he goes to the castle where he killed the God King, Lantamore, where he walks up and he meets an old blind ogre who says, he says something like, I'm the steward of the castle. I would usually be dead, or something other, and basically just saying how he's obsolete, that sort of stuff, and how he can only be this, he's not a warrior. And then, boom, the windows break. A bolt flies forward and hits Sirius. Now, you must be thinking, you can't kill Sirius off. He's a main character. He's not dead. He's just hit in the shoulder. So he crawls behind the throne, and he pulls the arrow out. And he found out earlier that after he killed the God King, the magic rings that he collected off of the servants of the God King, they don't work no more. He can't use fire. He can't use water. He can't make lightning. He can't do that. He only heals himself, which is lucky, so he heals himself. But there is one side effect. It's not healing as in regenerating wound. No, it speeds up the body's aging process, basically healing the wound in a short amount of time. But his fingernails grow longer, his beard grows longer, and he looks around and he sees that the assassin looks human. It's probably a human, because he knows it's not a Deathless. Well, he asked if it's not a Deathless, and she said no. She has this weird accent, sort of Irish, Scottish, Welsh, I don't know. I'm not really good with accents. So, she tries to kill him. He basically takes her prisoner, ties her up, and then he's betrayed by the old orc, who is then, Sirius then kills him, and he then takes the girl, Issa, and leaves. He just goes away. He disappears. He just walks away. And then in the next chapter, you go to the God King's view, where he's awakened in his rebirthing chamber, which basically there are bodies all around that he can inhabit. So there are monks there. I don't know what they're really called. There are monks, and then Black Knights, and he sends the Black Knights out to kill Cirrus. Now, Cirrus has been walking around. He befriends Issa. They become friends. She learns that he's not a Deathless. She thought at first he was a Deathless, and she could kill him, take the blade, sell to another Deathless for tons of moolah. But she learns that he is a legit, actual guy, and that he wants to kill the Deathless, even though she believes it can't be done. So they go around. She tells them a little about herself, how she can cook, and Cirrus, I forgot to mention this earlier, he started a little book about things he wanted to do that he couldn't do in childhood, like swing on a swing, eat sweets, and like this like one type of a sweet that he wanted to, like what bakery, like a type of bread he wanted to eat. I forget what. It started something to do with crepes. I don't know. So maybe a C. I don't know. But she said that she could make it, and he was over-thrilled. And so they go and walk forwards. Stuff happens, and they meet this little golem guy who they believe is in league with the God King. Issa is sliced open. The little golem, following Cirrus's orders, sews her back up, it's amazing pretty much. He basically touches a sword, or something, or I forget what, turns into that thing. His body breaks down. He turns into a really small vein, and he basically turns into a giant, he turns into a sewing machine, and he cures back up. And then so Cirrus knows that now he has to kill all of the Deathless, or they will never leave him alone. So he's going to use Infinity Blade, kill all the Deathless. But he doesn't know how to kill the Deathless, because apparently he used Infinity Blade to kill the God King. It didn't work. The God King is still alive. So he needs to find the worker of secrets to kill all the Deathless. So he goes and finds this other Deathless. And this Deathless name is Sidai. I can't really pronounce it. And this is where Infinity Blade 2 takes up. You play the game there and go on. There is now, at this moment, another book, Infinity Blade Reckoning. The next book in the series that is between the game 2 and game 3. I will have to read it. But that's it. Alright, guys? You will have to look at this yourselves. Let's read the book. Like last time I said with CLR, you gotta read the book. Really good book. It'll change your life. I gotta give this book actually though a 3 out of 5 because I give him credit for taking a game, turning it into a book. That's good. I just personally did not like the idea. I like the idea behind it of giving a little background, lore, history, a little story behind it instead of just lore of this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened, this happened. Giving a little more breadth and storyline. But I just personally, I did not really like the writing in this one book. Not enough to make it really bad, but I suggest you read it if you like the Infinity Blade series. But otherwise, you don't have to read it. It won't change your life. Just if you play the games, you might want to read it. All right. Bye, guys.